Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Hack, and just in time for the current double experience event, I thought this was a great opportunity to put together the ultimate Dolmen grinding guide for ESO. Now I know what you're thinking, Dolmens are basically all the same, so why do we need a guide? Well, it's actually not quite as simple as that. Some Dolmen grinds can actually give you more experience than others based on how populated the zone is. Some Dolmens also have better loot than others, making them a more ideal grind location if you're at a certain level. And before we get started, yes, I know grinding is not the ideal way to play ESO, especially if you're a brand new player. If you're new, please do not grind your entire way to level 50. This guide is mostly for those of us leveling new characters. And Dolmens are great for this because they provide tons of easy experience fast at regular intervals that you can complete solo or in a group. You can also earn great Fighters Guild experience, which is important, especially if you play a stamina class. So here we go with my opinion on the top 5 best Dolmen grinds in ESO. Let's get started. Coming in first at number 5 on our list is going to be the ALIK'R Desert. So it might come as a surprise to you that this is not the best location on my list. Let me first say though what's good about it. ALIK'R Desert is the original. I mean, this is the OG Dolmen grind. Now because it is such a well-known and popular Dolmen run, the good news is that you can get a group here literally any time of the day, any day of the week, 24/7. No matter what, there's always somebody grinding here. So the reason why that is good news is because your group can do pretty much all the damage and kill all the enemies, defeating the Dolmen while you just stand there and plink light attacks with a bow or with a staff. And you'll still get the same amount of experience as everyone else when that Dolmen goes down. So if you want to start off super early, even level 1, you can grab a Dolmen group here and get good experience without any decent skills or armor equipped. It's a great early grind and it's easy. Now the keyword here has been group. You must be in a group in order to get any experience or any benefit here at all, and that's also the downside. Because this zone is so crowded most of the time, even if you try your best to solo stuff here, the enemies will die so quickly, you might not even have a chance to hit it. So if you're solo and you don't hit an enemy, you don't get the experience. And of course, lag can be an issue here with 40, 50 plus players converging on one Dolmen at a time. But again, this is a great starter Dolmen grind. Just remember to group up, it's easy. Just type in zone chat, that 4-letter word that every Dolmen grinder knows, and get started. Coming in at number 4, we're talking about the AURIDON Dolmens. Now the benefits here are that just like ALIK'R Desert, you've got way shrines all fairly close to every Dolmen in the zone, meaning you can travel from one way shrine to the next, defeating each Dolmen in order. And if you're quick enough, you can basically finish the Dolmen, run to the way shrine, and then travel to the next Dolmen just as it reappears. And that's the goal here, 3 Dolmens in a row, and then restart the rotation. Now the reason why I like this more than ALIK'R is that generally it is much less crowded. Yes, you do get some crowds at the first Dolmen in the south, just because it's close to the main city, but the other 2 Dolmens almost never see a crowd. Typically you'll see like 5 to 10 players at these Dolmens, and sometimes less, and that is great for grinding experience. I actually find that when there's about 5 or so players at the Dolmen, I get the most experience overall. Now I think that's because I have time to hit every single mob that spawns, and I actually also have time to do decent damage in order to get the most experience possible. Also, having around 5 or more players at the Dolmen will actually spawn in more mobs than if you are just by yourself. So in other words, if you are the only person at a Dolmen, you'll get much less enemies arriving, meaning less experience for you overall. But around 5 or so players seems to be that sweet spot where you get the most enemies spawning in and the most overall experience. So just keep that in mind. So moving on to number 3 on this list, we're talking about BANGKORAI. This is a pretty well-known grind, so you may see some groups here, but not always. It kind of depends on the time of day. But the added advantage and the added bonus, I think, to this zone is unlike ALIK'R Desert or AURIDON, You actually have some item sets that drop in this zone which are pretty popular and can be easily traded for some pretty decent gold, so that's why I'm rating this slightly higher on my list. What you're going to be looking for, of course, is going to be purple quality jewelry. Now if you get blue or green quality, I would probably sell those to a merchant or deconstruct them, but purple you definitely want to hold on to and try to get some gold for those. Your best drop by far will be the Spriggans purple jewelry. Either rings or neck, it does not matter. Spriggans is one of the best tradable medium armor sets in the game. Great for both PvP and PvE, so there's a huge market still for it. 7th Legion is another popular set as well. Now the Dolmens are not quite as close to way shrines on this map, so you'll be slightly more limited. Some of the more common ways to do this is going to be to grind the north and the south Dolmens together. So hitting those two, because the way shrines are fairly close to these two. Another option you have is hanging out at this middle dolmen on the east side of the zone, and then combine this with farming the world boss right next to this dolmen. The world boss, of course, can drop Spriggans or 7th Legion weapons, which are going to sell for even more gold than the Spriggans or 7th Legion jewelry. Now up to number 2 on our list, we're in MALABAL Tor, and I've put this fairly high on the list because I normally do not see crowds in this zone at all. You've got 2 dolmens very close to way shrines, and a third, which might be close enough depending on your run speed, but this one is also very close to world bosses if you want to grind world bosses as well. Now the other reason why I've ranked this zone as high on the list is because we have another very good set dropped here, which of course is the spinner set. Purple rings or purple necklaces can sell very well for you, and if you kill a few world bosses along the way and get a staff to drop, well, that's going to sell even better. Now the quickest 2 dolmens, which we talked about, will be on the north and south ends of the zone, and then the third dolmen, like we said, is a bit farther, but you can combine that dolmen with the world boss pawn here if you're after those weapon drops. Alright, and last but not least, we've got our number 1 dolmen grind, and that is DESHAAN. And this is number 1 because it's a great combination of all the factors that we talked about in the other locations. It is much less crowded than some of the other well-known spots like ALIK'R Desert. All 3 dolmens on this one are extremely close to way shrines, making it super easy to grab all 3 dolmens and then just rotate through. And if you want loot to sell, well, this zone has arguably the best traded set in the game right now, and that's the Mother's Sorrow set. This is used in PvP and PvE, and many PvE trial and dungeon builds still use this set, even right now in the Dragonhold DLC. So you can definitely make some good gold here as well as experience if that's what you're interested in. Of course, you will want to be at least CP rank 160 in order to sell those max level jewelry pieces. Even if you're not interested in selling those, again, the quick rotation and the lower population in the zone make this a great grind spot. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up this top 5 dolmen grinds for ESO video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to crush that like button. Leave a comment below letting me know what your favorite dolmen grind is, and if you've been using it to level any new characters. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around in the next video.